Hello there everyone, it's Aidan here from Push Square, and tonight I'm coming at you with an unscripted video because I want to talk about subscription services. There have been some changes recently at Xbox with its Game Pass subscription tiers, and it's had me sort of reconsidering PS Plus in a new light with its own three-tier system. There have been some changes over at Xbox regarding price, tiers and perks, and it has sort of gone down a somewhat worrying direction, and it's made me realize in a way that I think Sony may have approached the subscription service from a far better angle. As a bit of context, I was not a huge fan of the rebranded three-tier system when it first came about a couple of years ago. I sort of struggled to see why streaming PS3 games was the most expensive perk, why that was the thing that you unlocked from the top tier when the middle tier was so worth your money with the amount of high profile, big budget, blockbuster games like Horizon Forbidden West or Returnal. Now though, a couple of years later, the service has had a number of ways that it's tried to improve things, whether that is the games that it's adding, the perks that it's steadily introduced, or generally just the messaging of what each tier does for you and why you should buy it. This is something that I think Game Pass at the moment is really severely lacking. The changes that were announced this week, that some of which are coming into effect from now, some a couple of months down the line, but essentially you have Xbox Game Pass Core, which is your essential tier. It's giving you access to multiplayer, discounts on the store, and instead of the free monthly games, you're getting a selection of over 25 games from the Game Pass catalogue. Moving up to Standard, which is replacing Console, this will give you access to the Game Pass catalogue, but not the new Xbox exclusives day one, which is, play it day one on Game Pass, but I suppose now only if you have the correct tier. Ultimate now is your highest tier, and it's been bumped from $12.99 a month to $15, making it more expensive than Premium, which currently sits at $13.50 a month. And this is the one that's giving you everything, including your day one releases of big games like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Call of Duty Black Ops. Now there are some inconsistencies there that are yet to be elaborated upon by Microsoft concerning the fact that Standard will not miss out on every single day one release, but we don't know which ones it will and which ones it won't. So that's a weird inconsistency there that I would like to know more about. But I suppose the thing that's really bugging me the most about it all is that this seems nothing more than like a money driven decision, which every business is going to make. Sony does it all the time. I'm not saying that, oh, greedy Microsoft, although yeah, I'm not just pointing that all at Microsoft, because there's plenty that goes on in Sony's side of things as well. But clearly what you have here is a decision impacted by the enormous acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Right here you have one game that I feel is impacting all of this. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming to Xbox Game Pass day one on Ultimate tier, and there you have Microsoft, I feel, trying to recoup some of that cost, that $69 billion. And when you start to look at it that way, you see that they're increasing prices across the board. They're then taking perks away that sort of force its users to bump up to the top tier. Like, you want to play this game, you really have to get the top and most expensive tier. And I don't think that's the way that Sony has approached its subscription service, and I'm coming to appreciate it more day by day. Sony has been reluctant and, well, outright just refused to approach the subscription service from the day one approach with, releasing Spider-Man 2 on PS Plus Premium or anything like that. Now these games do come to the service down the line at some point. We've got Horizon Forbidden West, we've got Demon's Souls, we've got Returnal, Death Stranding's on there, I'm sure Ghost of Tsushima is there as well, and you do have some day one indies like Animal Well there to sort of entice you a little bit more, but it never feels like we're being strong-armed into bumping up the tiers. And Sony has done some small things here or there to really, encourage more than force you to upgrade to the top tier, like including PSVR 2 games in the top tier, trying to include more PS2 games, which I think, still isn't quite enough. I would love to see more of that, but it's seemingly steadily happening now. But I do think that it shows that Sony, which has still put an emphasis on people paying for its games rather than people subscribing to its service, which is always going to hit a cap with how many people you will get to subscribe. I mean, we see it across the board. It happens at Netflix, at Disney. This is why we're seeing price increases for all of these subscription services, and these ones are no different. I don't even think it would be out of the realm of possibility to see a price increase on Sony's side of things within the next year. But from the Xbox perspective, you can't help but feel like these changes are nothing more than a way to egg its users on. Like, please get to that top tier. Please take this. You get this game for free. Pay a quarter almost of the price of Call of Duty to own it for 4 and a bit weeks. I think Microsoft actually loses a lot of the good faith that it had been trying to accumulate from this. We're for the gamers, you know, they're putting Xbox exclusives on PlayStation because they don't want, you know, they don't believe in divides. They want everyone to play their games, and we're doing that through Game Pass. We're including all these games. But there was a big demand for high profile games through Game Pass, and even though Black Ops 6 isn't the exclusive people we're looking for, it's a high profile release through Game Pass, and Microsoft has essentially said, well, you said you wanted it, how much do you want it? Because we're increasing the prices. Now, of course, accuse me if you like of being biased. I am a PlayStation guy, obviously, being here at this channel, but I have subscribed to Game Pass in the past. I've seen its value. I've enjoyed games on Game Pass with my Xbox Series X, but it's hard now to see the business decisions, I think, just front and center with the changes that it's making, and not so much just a thing that they offer that's cool if you want it. But these announcements with Xbox Game Pass have been eating away at me in a way that have sort of made me reconsider Sony's approach with PS Plus, and it's made me really realize the fundamental differences of, we need you to buy our subscription service, and we have a subscription service if you would like to subscribe to it. It's kind of cool. There's a fundamental difference there, and I think it's becoming more and more clear day by day. Just lastly, I suppose we have to be realistic about things. Will this actually impact Microsoft negatively? Will it work out for it? And the answer, quite sadly, I think is yes, it will, because we've seen things like password sharing being cracked down on streaming sites like Netflix. Everyone cracks up about it, but actually Netflix has gained additional subscribers through this method. Maybe as an existing member, you're really just looking at it as, oh, £2 extra to get day one games. Yeah, sure. There's that aspect there, and I do think that a lot of people, especially if they're already on Xbox, and maybe even the PC gamers with PC Game Pass, will just be like, yeah, sure, I'll pay a little extra so that I can play these games. So there is an aspect where you have to be realistic about it, but I still don't necessarily agree with the direction that it's going. But yeah, this was just a kind of off the cuff thought discussion about Game Pass and PS Plus. Let me know how you're feeling about the whole thing. Are you subscribed to one or the other or both? Or if you are a Game Pass guy, tell me how you're feeling about these changes. Do you feel like this is Xbox trying to strong arm you, or is this just par for the course? Will we see things like that over in Sony land as well? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this discussion, leave a like, I really do appreciate it, and even better, subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content like this. But anyway, until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.